Hi everyone, this is Chelsea from thecrafterlife.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make my Starfish applique. It works up pretty quick, and you just need your favorite color worsted weight yarn and a 4.00 millimeter crochet hook to get started. Because it's worked in continuous rounds, you might want to have a stitch marker or something to keep track of your rounds. I don't think I'm going to need one today because, like I said, it doesn't take long to whip up, so it's not too many stitches to count. And I decided for the video to use Red Heart Super Saver yarn in the color Buff. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started with round 1. It says make a magic ring and chain 1. So I'm going to go ahead and make my magic ring, wrapping it around my hand and through. And then there's my chain 1. And so now I have my magic ring ready. And so I need to work 5 single crochets in the magic ring. So here's 1, here's 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to pull the ring closed. And then I'm just going to recount, make sure I see where all my 5 single crochet stitches are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that one's going to be pretty tight to work in for the next round. That's probably like the hardest part of the whole pattern. So in round 2, I'm just going to work 2 single crochet stitches in each of the 5 stitches around. Okay, so I inserted my hook under that first tighter stitch, and now I'm going to work 2 single crochet stitches in that. So here's the first one, and then here's the second one. And this is where, if you needed to, you could use a stitch marker to mark your first stitch to keep track. But since I'm really only doing 10 stitches in this round, I hope to not lose track. So, all right, I've got the first 2, and then I'm going to work 2 more in the second stitch. 3, 4, and then 2 more in the third stitch. 5, 6, and then 2 more in the fourth stitch. 7, 8, and then 2 more in the fifth and final stitch. So 9, 10. And then if you wanted to double check, you should go around and count and make sure you do have 10 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So next for round 3, we're going to repeat single crocheting in the next stitch and then working 2 single crochet in the next stitch 5 times around. So to start with the first repeating segment, we're going to single crochet in this first stitch. And I might go ahead and put a stitch marker here just for everybody's benefit to see where I started. Okay, and then in the next stitch I'm going to work 2 single crochets Okay. So that's the first repeating segment. So we're going to work 1 in the next stitch and then 2 in the following stitch. So now I'm going to do that again, and it's going to be for a total of 5 times. So there was my first time that I did that repeating segment. So now I'm going to go ahead and just work 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then work 2 in the following stitch after that, all single crochets. Okay, so now I just completed a second repeat. So now I'm going to do that again, where I'm going to place 1 single crochet stitch in the next stitch, and then 2 in the next stitch, and then I'm going to do that again. So 1 in the next stitch, 2 in the following stitch, and then I only have 1 more time. So yeah, this should be my 5th time doing the repeating segment. So I'm going to work 1 in that stitch and then 2 in the final stitch of the round. And after I'm done, I'm going to work 2 in this last stitch. After I'm done, I should have 15 single crochet stitches in this round. So I'm going to go ahead and count and double check that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, counting my first stitch that I marked with that stitch marker. Okay, and so now we're on to round 4, which is the final round, and that creates the actual 5 arms of the starfish. So to begin round 4, it says to slip stitch in the next stitch, and then we're going to repeat a segment that will make the first arm. So I'm going to go ahead and take my stitch marker out, and I'm going to work a slip stitch in that stitch. Okay, so there's my slip stitch, and now I'm going to repeat. First I'm going to chain 8, then I'm going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook, then single crochet in the next chain, half double crochet in the next 2 chains after that, and then double crochet in the next 3 chains after that, and then I'll skip the next stitch from round 3 and slip stitch in the next 2 stitches. So that's kind of a lot to remember. So just remember, you can find my pattern on thecraftyourlife.com if you need a printout. So I'm going to go ahead and chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that's going to be the start of my first arm of my starfish. And now I'm going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook, work a single crochet stitch. So here's the first chain from the hook, so I'm going to work in right this one, you can see. Okay, and then I'm going to single crochet in the next chain as well. I don't know if you can see that a little clearer. Sometimes when I'm on camera, it's kind of hard to remember. I need to make sure you all can see. So I'm going to single crochet in that next one. And then I'm going to work a half double crochet in the next 2 chains. So a half double crochet, so I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook in the next chain, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops to work a half double crochet. And then I'm going to do that again for the next chain, half double crochet. And then I'm going to work a double crochet in the next 3 chains. So double crochet, I yarn over, insert my hook under the next chain, yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops, and then yarn over again and pull through the next 2 loops. That hair out of the way. So I have 1 double crochet completed, and I need to do 2 more, and then 1 in each of the next 2 chains. Okay, and so now I'm kind of back to the beginning. I've worked my way completely down the chain, and as you can see, the arm has kind of formed here. And so it says to skip the next stitch from round 3 and then slip stitch in the next 2 stitches. So if you look to where we started here, this was the first stitch from round 3. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to show you again. Trying to get that in clear. So this is the first stitch from round 3 here, and I'm going to skip this stitch, the next stitch over, and then I'm going to slip stitch in the next 2 stitches. So I'm going to skip that stitch, and I'm going to slip stitch. I'm going to work a slip stitch in this next stitch here, and then I'm also going to work a slip stitch in the stitch next to that one. Okay, and so now my first arm is completely attached. Okay, and now I'm going to repeat what we just did to create this arm another time to make the second arm. So I'm going to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I'm going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook. And then I'm going to single crochet in the next chain as well. This is just like we made the first arm. And then I'm going to work a half double crochet in the next 2 chains. So yarn over, insert my hook through the chain, and pull through all 3 loops to make a half double crochet. I'm going to do that again for the next chain. And then I'm going to double crochet in the last 3 chains in each of the last, just work 1 double crochet in each of those. Okay, and so I've reached the end of my chain 8. And so now I'm going to skip the next stitch from round 3. So where we did that last slip stitch, in that stitch I'm going to skip the next stitch over from that. And so I'm going to slip stitch in the stitch after that. So again, I'm going to skip the next stitch of round 3 and slip stitch into the next stitch. Just completely skip that stitch next to the one that you had worked your last stitch, slip stitch in before. Okay, and then I'm going to slip stitch in the next one as well. So I worked my 2 slip stitches, and then I'm going to begin the third arm the exact same way we worked the other 2 by chaining 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to go a little bit faster through these next ones just because it's the same thing as the first 2. So single crochet in the second chain from the hook, and then single crochet in the next chain, and then half double crochet in the next 2 chains, and then double crochet in the last 3 chains. And then I'm going to again skip the next stitch over in round 3 and slip stitch in the stitch after that. And then I will slip stitch again in the stitch after that one to begin my chain 8 for the 4th arm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then single crochet in the 2nd chain from the hook, single crochet in the next chain, half double crochet in the next 2 chains, and then I'm going to double crochet in the last 3 chains. One, 2, 3. Okay, and then I'm going to skip the next stitch in round 3 and slip stitch into the following stitch. And then slip stitch into the next stitch. And then I'm going to chain 8 and do my last arm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And work my 2 single crochets. And then work my 2 half double crochets. And then work my 3 double crochets. Okay, and then I'm going to skip the next stitch of round 3 here and slip stitch into this, basically the last stitch of round 3. But then I'm also going to slip stitch in the very first stitch of round 3, which is the stitch that you worked your very first slip stitch of round 4. So I don't know if you can see that. Right in this space right here where my thumb is pointing, right there, I'm going to go ahead and place a slip stitch or work a slip stitch right there, because that's actually the first stitch of round 3, and again it's where you worked your very first slip stitch of this round, and I'm going to go ahead and just slip stitch right to there, as opposed to slip stitching in the first slip stitch of round 4. It just looks, it finishes it off, makes it look a little nicer. And then it's complete and we can fasten off and weave in all of the loose ends. I'm going to cut my tail here. And I'm going to fasten it off. Okay. And then I'm going to get a tapestry needle and weave in my loose ends on the back. And obviously, since this was a magic circle, you want to weave it around to make sure it's securely closed. Weave it around the inside of that circle I always take it around and then I go back the other way just to make sure it's really secure. I'm going to go ahead and weave these ends in now on the back, and then it will be finished. And as I said, when I weave in the end on the back of the magic circle part, I just try to go under those original stitches that we worked in that ring. Pretty much just go right under and around those. Getting a little tight. It'll help keep that circle closed. And then once I've gone around one whole time, then I will skip over the ones I just went under and then go back under the ones before that, which basically really secures it. And I'm sure if you've done magic rings before, magic circles, you know this method. So I kind of just took it back the other way around that circle to really make sure it's secured. As close as I can to the starfish. And then once you have secured all your loose ends on the back of your work, your starfish applique is complete. And it makes just a fun summer project to do, and then it's also just something you can use to enhance your other projects. You could add it to a lot of different things, just for like a summery feel. And I thank you again for watching my video, and if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel, and also all of my patterns can be found at thecrafterlife.com.